think it should go. Don't have a way you think it should go. Let life just happen. Thoughts make you think that life should go the way you want it to go. And if it doesn't, if someone don't do or say or act the way you think they should act, you hate them. And then you blame them for being mad. It's the darndest thing I ever seen. But it's amazing to see it. So relax. I have books that are amazing. I highly recommend you get them. 7 Guaranteed Steps to Spiritual, Family, and Financial Success Guide. Even if you're not starting a business, but you have a job, or you're on welfare, it can help you if you do. Be doers of the word, all right? From rage to responsibility. From rage. That's what I write about in the first chapter, especially how I overcame. Scam. How the black leadership exploits black Americans. They're using them. The blacks are too willing to be used. And then my last book, The Antidote, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. They are all amazing books, and they are helpful. Go to rebuildingtheman.com if you want an autographed copy, or call 800-411-2663. We have a counseling service, and I have to admit, thanks to God, it is the best counseling service on this side of heaven. I counsel with men and women, families, and individuals around the world. Most people are unhappy, they're miserable, they have rough lives, they're depressed, suicidal, young and old, of all races. I understand, I know why, and I do understand it. Because exactly what's happening in me is happening with everybody outside of me, inside of them. And I've noticed that with those who really, really, really want to understand, they overcome it just like that, out of one counseling session. If you need counseling, you can go to rebuildingtheman.com or call 800-411-2663. 800-411-BOND. Best counseling service on this side of heaven. Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room,
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on America's soil. So he became the anchor baby. They don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby. This is my show. Thanks for tuning in, folks, here on this fine Monday. Beautiful Monday to have you all back here with me because I got a bit of a show for you today. And it's a pleasure to be back as always. So we'll be getting into it. You know, there's a whole bunch. Lately, I've just had all sorts of things to talk about. You know, incels, war, aliens, helicopter ladies, gorillas, black people. Those are two separate topics. Don't go crazy. Mexicans and infestations of insects. Those are also two separate topics. Don't go crazy. So many things to talk about, folks. We'll get into it all. If you want to call in, you could call in 888-775-3773 if you want to jump on the air. A little housekeeping here. You know, we got some viewers here on the network here, so it's nice to see all of you jumping in here on a fine Monday. Such as today, lovely viewers on punchy.tv/anchorbaby. I love you for making an account. dlive.tv/gorgonzola. What's up, people over there on rumble.com/anchorbaby. And of course, the people on YouTube. Welcome, everybody. What can I say? That's our housekeeping. Click the like button as you're on your way in. Don't be rude. Okay, that's like, you know, you're here constant. That's like just decorum at this point. You know, it's not like so legalistic. Like, don't make it a big deal. You come in, you say hi. You walk into a home, you say hello. You come into the stream that you've come into before. You click the like button, right? Show some decorum. Don't be rude. How you doing, everybody in the chat? Seeing some people here. You know what, Liesel, I see you in the chat. You've made it. Lovely Liesel, who's been... it's impossible the amount of coffees. There's no way I could drink all of these. I didn't even realize you had messages attached to these. We'll be getting to all of that, Liesel. So thank you for that, by the way. You know, you gotta be logged in correctly in the right way. I boomered it with the coffees here, but I can see your comments here, Liesel. Just so you know, they haven't been forgotten for a baller, okay? She paid the cost to be the boss in a sense, right? A baller. So thank you, everybody. DJT 2020, Digitus over there. Stretching your legs over there on Rumble. So welcome, everybody. What can I say? Let's get into it here. Number of things to get into. You know, the bigger news, like the constant news is war, immigration, right? And there's things to get into there. Very briefly on war, a little bit on immigration. We'll get into it. Allow me some time because I got something I want to bring up first. A little bit of a viral conversation might have the same effect here, might not. We'll see. But I had to bring this up. I must bring this up. It's somewhat interesting to me. I've heard this before. I've seen this in life. I've seen this phenomenon, and maybe we can maybe clear it up a little bit. I don't know, but people online are wondering about this. It's got everybody talking about it. Okay, super viral post, tens. Wow, 80 million views now. It's about women, men. Okay, a little bit here. Let me pull this up. See what you guys think. Are women lying about this? Are women lying about this? People are wondering. This particular person is wondering, why are women lying about this? Like, what's the actual cause? And some people are triggered by like looking at someone's physique for fitness reasons. This is for fitness. This is for science of fitness, you freaks. Okay. Just as a preface, just as a little bit of a preface, but also a trigger warning. Some are triggered by these things, okay? They don't want to see bodies, but we're not going to be staring. What? But look, this guy posted something on X, and he asked the public. He presented two pictures side by side of a individual working out, and then his progress in cutting fat and looking a little bit more cut up. This person asked the question, which picture looks better? And then he divided up the poll. And you could either answer as a male if you thought the picture before or after was better, and as a female if you thought the picture before or after was better. Okay? So you might understand where this is going. And so this individual, I gather, does work out. So in the before, whatever, you'll see here in a moment, but this is the poll. And please understand how polls work on X. Can we say how big of a sample size this is? I don't know. It seems sizable. 5,000 votes, almost. Do people lie? Do people whatever? All these things are in place, so be aware, I guess. But what do you think? So in the first reply to this poll, there's a picture of Ollie Moores, okay? Before and after a 12-week gym transformation. Do you think he looks better before or after? So the males, they said he looked better after. And the females said he looks better before. And the person who went viral posting this is asking, why are women lying about this? Like, what is the actual cause? Okay, here's the progress pic for you. Here's the progress pic. Why are women lying about this? Yes. This got a lot of people talking. Anybody encountered this conversation? Anybody encountered this phenomenon? It appears only men prefer the right one, which means it's superbly gay. I'm literally never cutting again. This guy's done. This guy's done with working out. But that kind of tracks. Like that guy's admire. They call it miring. Why are you miring, bro? That's maybe an old gym talk thing. But where was I? That kind of tracks a bit, The guys being like, oh, the work you put in, okay? Maybe that's part of it. So you're seeing the point here, right? You're seeing the controversy. Now, where was I going to go with this? There's a couple of comments here, I think. Let me pull them all up. While you all smoke on the topic here. Let me pull up some of the interesting comments on this. And then I'll tell you kind of what we'll see, maybe we could gather some kind of understanding here. Are women lying? Because some women are begging. They're begging men to believe them. Where was that? They are begging men. I'm begging men. The feminist turned housewife. The feminist turned housewife. At turned wife on X. Reclaiming femininity, restoring tradition, a cross in her bio. Says she's begging men. I'm begging men to understand that we aren't lying. We like you, like on the left maybe. Little pudgier maybe. Some women are saying they're begging men to believe that they're not lying. That it's true, they're not lying about liking the guy on the left. But see, okay, there's multiple things going on, right? Let me slow down here. The guy on the left isn't necessarily fat, fatter than himself on the right, but the guy on the left isn't necessarily fat. Would you guys say? I wouldn't say he's necessarily an unfit individual. He seems to have muscle under there, okay? But and you see in some of these comments, they're nitpicking on this specific picture. Like, okay, no, the guy on the left clearly looks like he's not so into his body. That's some of the comments we're saying. The guy on the right is way more egotistical or something. But it's all these comments about everything other than the topic of does he look better before or after? Does he look? What are you guys saying? Is he smoking on it still? It's no big deal. Be happy with how you look. It's your temple. Mark, look, don't derail. We can have our fair comments and all that. We'd be like, you know what, you're right, man. But let's do that after we deal with like the fun thing here, which is the controversy. And okay, all the comments on personality, but he looks like he's too into his body. This is Ophelia's ghost. She says, it blows my mind that men do not understand how gay the after photo codes to women. It's literally repulsive. Remember, let's keep an open mind here, right? Because the thing about men and women, they sometimes like write about each other. So if we can take a moment to to hear, not to just hear, right? To just hear. Now let me pull up what I want to say. Let's see, where did I put all this? So some are begging the men to believe them, and it was that same. Now who was it? So here's one of the comments underneath the whole thing, and here's this woman. She's like, "Oh, I'd rather this gentleman, this bigger guy," she says. "Muscle men aren't as attractive as they think. Who wants a man they never see?" Here it was. "Muscle men aren't as attractive as they think. Who wants a man they never see because he's in the gym all the time? Give me a larger man every day." And it's under this, bigger looking guy. He's got roses and a nice smile. He's got roses, a nice smile. I'm sure he's got a big personality like the big guy he is, right? Well, I don't know. We're messing around. But the internet incels, right? They're just incels. In there were too quick. They were much too quick for her. They instead of going outside and living their lives like Mark is asking them to, instead of doing the sensible thing like getting off the internet, maybe living your life. I'm laughing because there's something so funny about this. They instead go right into her account and crawl through her account, looking far and wide into all of her replies so that they could find some discrepancy, her being a hypocrite. Here is a muscle man, not pudgy, no roses, no winning smile. And here's the same Celine saying he looks very much like my next boyfriend. Oh, she's caught. They got her. The internet guys, we got her, boys. You guys may be kind of arguing maybe a bit in the chat, or is that just me? Controversy? So, they did not touch grass. They decided to expose Celine. I don't know if they're better for it. I don't know. But I appreciate them giving me some content here. But are the ladies lying about this? This is a funny thing I've encountered my whole life. And not like to me, this is something I've heard, seen constantly. A revulsion almost to seeing muscles going like, oh, why? And it's kind of funny. It's funnier that this popped up and became viral too. It's like, I really do, man. The universe really is for my show, which is a huge egotistical thing to say, but it's funny. Let me see. Let me get through this. Here. What other comment did they say here? So they exposed Celine. Here's something that I thought of in the midst of seeing this conversation, this discourse here. And it hit me a bit. Like, think about it like this. Maybe the men, maybe there's some, put it like this. Maybe let's say we just believe the women, right? The women are saying they're begging us, believe us, man. We like the dad bod. Now, it gets hazy in my mind when we compare those guys. I wouldn't say the guy on the left was dad bod, but let's take it to the more general conversation this discourse goes to. The women that love the dad bods and the guys that say they're lying. Let's just assume for a moment that they're not lying. What is that assumption for? What are we to assume here for a moment? Are we to assume then that women, their truest desire is for their men to be like in a worse state? Like, let's not get lost here with the nitty-gritty details of exactly how cut up he should be. Like, I was trying to kind of give credence to this notion that women have, that the over focus, the super cut up, the gayness to it. Lending a little credence to that, all that. Let's get rid of that nitpicky detail. Are we to assume then women at their natural state that they're begging us to believe they want us to be weak? That's what I was thinking about, right? So if we take away the conversation, the controversy, and getting to the bottom of it, if you have to, let's just take it at face value. Man, we're begging you to believe us. We want you. Dad bought it up. So we're to believe they want us weak, right? That they want us less effective, you know? And I guess that's what a guy thinks of. So it's a funny thing, right? And that's really only what a guy thinks of. So if we're here do we really want our women to see us like guys? I don't know. That's maybe another thing. But I can't get, are we to assume, taking it at face value, that they're not lying? They want us fat, weak, cute, and what the? So we're, messing around a bit, but I think that goes closer to what it really is. Now I think we're done with this. What else? Here it is. Now here's Chris Alvino. Chris Alvino's finding this whole conversation hilarious. I find it funny too. He says, it's so hilarious because me, a fat brown dude, has dated a lot of models and athletes over the years. I used to feel incredibly self-conscious about it because these women were fit. And then there was me. I asked a few about it when I was feeling insecure, and they all said the same thing. Now, I don't know who's Chris Alvino. I don't know what the details, these women, true stories, how exaggerated, how not exaggerated. I tend to kind of believe them, though. Sincerely. This whole, women thing is not supposed to be that complicated. It really is. It starts inside. And the proof is the vast majority of men that are not cut up, not any of that, not even close, and doing fine. Okay, whether it's married and doing a simple thing, or I don't know. Apparently, Chris Alvino is a bit of a player. Chris Alvino here is a bit of a player. But I want you to see some of the comments Chris Alvino says. I think it gets into the psyche of the controversy here. Like I said, I believe him. He says he's a sex and dating coach, computer scientist, disabled from lace. I don't know, maybe accomplished, People look at more than looks, right? Especially women. But anyways, Chris Alvino's comments on this was a little interesting. He says, it's even funnier because the same thing being said by thousands of women in the replies. The issue isn't that women are lying. It's that women don't effing listen to women. And that is why they fail. That is why you fail. Here's what the women told me when I asked them why they're dating me, when they could be dating fellow athletes and models. First, most women find gym bros annoying as hell. They are incredibly judgy. And then he goes on about everything but the question, right? Fitness, looking better, etc. They see me enjoying burgers and fries during our date and not saying a word if she eats an ice cream. And they're like, Jesus effing Christ. That's what that stands for, I believe. I can finally relax with someone who will accept me exactly as I am without judgment. No, now we're starting to understand why the ladies like Chris Alvino, maybe. Chris Alvino is, easygoing, easygoing. Definitely, you're not gonna be your best physical peak with Chris Alvino, which it has its stresses. I'm sure it's much easier, nicer to sit back and eat an ice cream. And all I'm saying with that is I'm not saying the gym bro had it right. You should have just been the gym bro that was being tough on you. That was real. That could be a psycho too. But you see how things are a lot less of a mystery than you think. It's it's a lot less of a mystery. You like things that are easy. In this case, right? And everything I've said so far, it should be kind of obvious things that Chris Alvino's mere confidence could find him a lot of success. It's not a mystery. It's not a big mystery. So yeah, not a big mystery. You don't have to study this and go crazy and figure it out. No, just chill out. Okay, talk to people. Just talk. Go outside. Talk to somebody. You'll be surprised. You'll be fascinated by how life is not at all what you think it is. Life is not even close to what you think it is. Going outside, meeting a woman. We'll get to the incels in a moment. What was I saying about this? What do you think, Bill? What do you think about this, Bill? Guy on the left, guy on the right. Who looks better? The guy on the left looks better. Why do you say that?
I don't
The guy on the right looks too skinny? He's too skinny, you say? Yeah. Did I answer? I didn't quite say who was better looking to me. But this is a controversy, Bill, that some are saying women are totally lying about this because all the males said the guy after looked better and all the women said the guy before looked better. Really? Yeah. And so people are wondering if they're lying. Are women lying about this? And I don't know. This guy specifically, I'd rather be the like more of the like natural. Is that what you're thinking in your mind when you see this? You're saying the left guy looks better because it's natural. Yeah. I'm thinking beast, right? I just look at me right now. I'm saying beast and look at me on the camera. Bing. Don't worry, we got to bring out beast mode maybe this year. But I'm kind of with Bill on this specific thing. What do you think? Have you ever seen this kind of stuff where women will look at a fit guy and think, "Ew"? I've seemed to have encountered that quite a bit personally.
Yeah, I mean, the guy looks smaller.
The guy looks. So you say he looks more impressive on the left.
Maybe he looks more natural. You know, but I think the guy on maybe it's that it shows more. The guy on the right actually shows more feminine qualities.
Yeah. Bill is saying he might look. Bill is onto what some of the girls I think are maybe even right about the over just attention, way too much attention to your own body kind of thing. And Bill was saying that actually might express a more feminine quality to it. But yeah, so I was giving the girls points on that, honestly. But honestly, I think Chris Alvino, I think that whole thing on this, it's because it's more you should just never listen to women. That's really the point. Literally never, like you hear them, you can hear them. I hear women close to me, around me. Now I'm a little bit in a special situation because the ladies I meet and know, they're working on their lives, they're working on themselves. But that being said, what I was going to say is I hear women say true, beautiful, smart things all the time. Like all the time. Let me not exaggerate. But I hear Bond, like I hear women say true, great things all the time. But never listen to women. You see, if you see anything in the discourse here, I don't know if you see it. This is what I saw a bit. And what I've seen over time, it's too, what's the word I'm looking for? It's stressful to be with a guy that is up in his look, his all that. You know, he's gonna get too much. He's gonna get the wrong kind of attention that stresses out the woman. I honestly think that's at the core of their visceral reaction to some of that. Like some of that is in there, but that's why Chris Alvino's thread kind of hit. It's because of that. And because the woman, it's like a spiritual thing, folks. Like she's bringing you down in a sense, right? She doesn't even know it. In a lot of cases, she doesn't even know. Maybe in some cases, but anyways, that's kind of what I want to say about that. It just should be proof. Never, you don't just listen to women. You got to be your own guy. You got to be your own man. Hear people out, hear things out, but women don't know what they want. This is that's why you can't listen to them. You just can't. You just cannot. I think that's at the core of that. They don't want that. They'd rather it's easier, right? Dad bought it up. He's not going anywhere, right? Kind of thing. So they would be okay with you being even your health suffering from it. Now, it's not that deep and exaggerated, but I see the calls coming in, so I'm sure the controversy, got your minds going a bit. We'll get into another topic here. Let's kind of move on here. I want to get to calls of some of you on this. 888-775-3773. Now, what else here? Let's see what the chat was saying. Let's get to, who's been holding here? Let's get to Josh out of Georgia. How you doing, Josh? Appreciate it. You're on the air.
Hey, what's up, man?
How you doing, sir? Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. It's the dad bod is what women want.
Okay.
That's what I say. And it's because they want. They're not into the S word the way men are.
Right.
Yeah, and they want. If a guy has like a dad bod, but he's just as confident as the, super cock diesel swole guy, he's more spiritually strong. Like being super in shape and chiseled, that's feminine. That's feminine.
So if you could give a woman these two options, and you could make these two perfect options and present them before her: dad bod but strong and spiritual inside, like you said, or fit, muscular even, but and spiritually strong and all that within. Which one do you think they would want?
Dad bod, easily.
Really? And say why? Why do you say that?
Because look at Trump.
No, you're giving me examples that could be exceptions, and you're giving me good reasons why they would be exceptions because they have something beyond looks. That's fine. I totally understand that. It goes way beyond it. And I think more for men, a lot more. Look at Trump, like you just said. Look at others. They go beyond. They transcend that. And I think a lot of these guys who are muscled up trying to get women, they don't get that. And in a lot of ways, women are repulsed by that. Fine. That being said, you think the woman truly sees the dad bod as more attractive. Let's say you put these two options, right? Both guys with that internal Trump spirit, they would see the dad bod more attractive, or the fit guy.
Yeah, the dad bod, because it's less ego.
Really?
Less ego. Yeah.
That's what I just don't believe that.
It's more stable. It's more stable. Yeah, you say you don't believe that?
No, see, you're adding to it. See, again, you're adding to it. You're saying because it's more stable. No. In this example, they're both stable, strong, Trump man, blah, blah, blah. Right? So they got the same thing inside. But one has a dad bod and one is right. Because we're playing hypothetical, so we get to kind of like make up fantasy scenario here. Okay. So in this scenario, they both have the spirit inside, right? They're both strong and inside, but one has a dad bod, one is physically fit, muscular even. You say the woman would still find the dad bod sincerely more attractive. Yeah. Okay, explain.
Because it's less. You know what? I may be second. You know what? I may be double-minded on this one, bro.
No, it's fine.
I may be double-minded.
I'll let you go down the original line of thought you were going down before I stopped you.
It's just in our society, in our culture. That's where the word dad bod comes from. It's like my dad has a dad. He drank beer and he had like a beer belly, and that's just I associate that with stability. It's and you can always go to the dad and he's just reliable, but a muscly guy, he's full of his ego, and that's feminine. I don't know. I guess there are exceptions to the rule. You may have a muscly guy who is also has no ego, and he just looks like that. But generally, for the most part, I'd say the dad bod is that's what it's stable. It's what women want.
But you notice how you have to add to it to like get out of this conversation. Which, by the way,
I have to add to it.
Kind of. Let me explain. Because you got to instead of just looking at the scenario I put up, which is two men who are internally the same. You're saying, oh, well, he's just more reliable. He's got dad bod. He's more reliable. You love him more. But let's just say they're both internally the same. They have just different bodies. You keep adding to it and going to that. But you know what? I won't even fault you for that. You may be getting at to why the men and women are seeing this differently. Essentially, the women can't take those two apart, right? They see through the man in a sense. Maybe I'll give that. I'll leave that open. What do you think about that?
Yeah, maybe that's the theme. You just pointed out the female in me.
Well, not necessarily.
I got a little bait. That's the beta. Because you're right. I did add to it. I guess if they're both exactly the same on the inside, then it's completely equal. It doesn't matter because the physical doesn't mean anything, man. That's the bottom line.
It's
all about the spiritual and what we can't see, the intangible.
That's truly what matters. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll concede. I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for, but I'll leave space. I'll leave space for it to be actually sincerely true that the women do in fact like the dad bod more. Let's say I'll leave space for that. What do you think about this? If that were true, if that's true, the women are sincerely not lying. Even if the two men were exactly the same, exactly as reliable, they'd pick the dad bod over the fit guy most of the time. Let's say I give him that there's nothing under it, there's no layers, that's just a sincere comment. What do you think? Yeah. Wouldn't you think then that they are isn't that them saying that they desire their men to be weak and fat? Or am I seeing it wrong? What do you think?
You know what? Could be. Women lie, man. You don't know. And it's not even them lying. It's
right.
I'd say it's the devil in them lying. So,
it's no biggie.
I can't
no biggie at
it.
all.
Yeah. Some women may want them to be weak. It's a certain type of woman that wants. She's just addicted to control, or she's been hurt in the past, and so she wants a weak guy. And then other women don't want that. So I don't know. That's 50-50 to me.
Fair enough.
They're all not the same. Yeah.
What do you think about what Carver's saying in the chat? He might be onto something here. Not weak fat, strong fat. You know, like might be a belly, but you can see he's got some shoulders there, like a bear or something. But I don't want to use such a word. I hear that word is homosexual.
Yeah. But it's you heard of Daniel Cormier? They call him. He's like the MMA dad bod king. He's like fat,
not familiar.
But he's like a beast. Okay.
Oh wow. This kind of Daniel, ladies, what do you think? Specimen? This is your husband? Be honest.
He's like an Olympian. He's like an Olympian gold medalist wrestler. His biggest rival was that guy John Jones. He's like the greatest of all time. Yeah. And he was the best. But he has the dad bod, and it's like, hey, everybody respects him.
That's true. He's got
he's a commentator with Joe Rogan. He's like super famous.
Fair enough, man.
Yeah, so I think dad bod wins it, but I don't know.
Dad bod for the win. Dad bod for the win. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm laughing at the millennial speak, sir. Josh, last thing you want to say about this before we move the wheels?
No, this is a cool topic, man.
Nice. I'm glad you enjoyed it. All right, call me back.
Yeah. All right, bro.
Take care. All right, 888-775-3773. We got more topics for you, but we also have a bunch of calls. So allow me to get to somebody here in a moment. What else about this? I want to make sure I got to all my links. Oh, someone posted this. This was funny. They were like, it was some woman, and this woman is hilarious for posting this, okay? She's like, she read the room, saw what the discourse was going on, and was like, this would be hilarious to say. And I gotta say, she's right. She's like, I like slightly bald men like this. She writes. Yeah. I like my men slightly balding like this guy. Yeah. Oh, man. Kind of just getting in there. I'm sure trolling the fellas, and they all got mad at her. Fellas, come on. Come on, fellas. You could do better. You could be better. Okay, let's have fun. Let's talk about, you talk about the lady. We talk about ourselves, our bodies, our hairlines. Let's not get sensitive. But, yeah. I like slightly balding men, slightly fat and balding old men like this guy with wrinkles on their foreheads. Yeah, picks an actor. Picks an actor. But she's trolling, right? So. What else about this? I think I should just do a call. I think we're done with all the links here. Yeah, let's get to Jaime. We got Jaime out of Minnesota. He wants to get it on it, maybe. Other things. How you doing, sir? You're on the air.
Hey, how's it going, Nick?
All is well. No complaints.
Cool. Hey, those pictures, I just took kind of a quick peek at them, but they both look like they work out a lot.
The guy on the left and the guy on the right from the earlier poll? Right, I felt it a little bit of unfair on that case, but go ahead. You were thinking about it.
That guy doesn't have a dad bod, the guy on the left.
Left guy's not that dad.
Dad's had that kind of a bod, that'd be pretty fit. That guy has
What's that beeping, Jaime? You got beeping going on. It's very distracting.
I don't hear any beeping.
You don't hear any beeping?
Yeah, I do.
Where are you? What? Are you full Mexican or are you mixed?
Yeah, I'm Mexican.
Okay. I was just wondering why you couldn't hear that beeping, but go ahead.
So they're both athletic. The difference between them that I can see visually is the one is natural. He eats food, takes a few.
They're the same guy, by the way. They were the same guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Natural supplements. No gear is what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
Gear is unnatural is what I'm trying to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
The guy on the right, he's on Wenstrom, he's on Trenbolone, he's on some other steroids, heavy-duty gear to get that cut, to get that striation. You don't get deep muscles like that, thick, hard, musculature like that.
Right.
Going natural.
Oh, you think so? Really? You think on the right?
I don't even
he
think
couldn't
so.
be. He couldn't be natty like that.
No, never.
He's got like fat legs. And he doesn't look that impressive. And
well,
and a lot of the impressive factor on the right picture is the downward light too. He's got an angled light on him. You know how that does wonders. So I personally don't think he looks that impressive. He looks natural. Not to say you know how it is, right? If you know anything about bodybuilding, you know when like you look normal, you're like, oh wow, that's natural. It's like, wow, so much in the industry is geared up. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So anyways.
So water retention, that guy on the right, he has no water retention in his skin, in his cells, in the molecules of his cells. There's no water in there. And you get that from Wenstrom, from Trenbolone.
So what you're saying is women love water in the cells.
No, what I'm saying...
no, I know what you're saying, but I don't know if he's on gear. But okay, you made your point.
That guy doesn't have a dad bod. A guy that looks like Chris Pratt from The Office, or Chris Pratt when he was doing that other show where he was, that's a dad bod. The guy on the left, he has a natural athletic physique.
Yeah.
So I don't know why you guys keep saying dad bodies. That's not a dad bod.
And here's why. And I was trying to make that kind of clear too. There's like a level here. There's two levels going on here because the pictures that were used as examples, the guy on the left wasn't necessarily dad bod, and I was saying that, and I was trying, but there is kind of an overarching conversation that goes beyond this specific poll and this specific controversy, that where you have this generally you see this women loving dad bods, loving the pudgy, loving this, all that, and what we've been talking about so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think both pictures look great. Very athletic. You can tell that they both work out. Either one would be good to have for
as a husband,
like a body that way.
Is that what, no? I'm messing with you.
I could make it work. I can cook and clean and not. If I wanted a body
as a husband, I hear you.
I would take for myself the body kind physique. I could either be the natural body or the cut up one. I take.
So you're marrying cut up
for myself. What?
You're marrying cut up guy?
No, well, I'm saying if you ask me which one looks better,
right? No, I know.
Good.
For a moment there, it almost sounded like who you would pick to marry, but I was just messing with you.
Yeah, and for when you ask a question like that for a man or a woman, normally the man is looking at it, which one would I like to be? And a woman would be probably saying, which one would I want to get with?
Which one would be less? Which one would get less female attention I could keep? No, I hear you, man.
Yeah.
Well, no, maybe you didn't say that, but I hear you. Jaime,
nobody in there is a dad body.
Yeah.
None of them.
Loud and clear.
Okay.
All right, sir. Call me again.
Good. Oh, hey, make a muscle. Let's see that bicep.
I did it. Call me again. 888-775-3773. You guys are cracking up to this? You guys are cracking up? I'm glad you're at least enjoying it. Here on a Monday. I know there's important things going on, okay? And I was like, looming wars and all that. Nick thinks the skinny wide receivers are stronger than the O linemen because they're fat. I don't know what you mean. It's like you're messing with parameters, right? It's like skinny but muscular, but fat but not so muscular. There's probably a convergence point where one would beat the other, and vice versa, right? You're messing with parameters here. But now we're, that's scientific with it. In general, what? Those linemen are stronger? Ryan Moon, you know what? Let's do a couple super chats here. Let's do a couple super chats. We'll get back to calls. We haven't even gone to the next topic. Lord. All right. 88, and we have all these calls too. 888-775-3773. Ryan Moon with a super chat says, amazing show. Thank you, sir. You cannot see me. Says, big gut doesn't mean comfort. Big gut doesn't mean comfort. You mean for the guy with the big gut? Maybe you're right. Sure, it's comfortable as a pillow. Or are you saying not all guts are comfortable to lie on? It's a Faustian bargain, a fantasy in your mind. Turns out the gut is like a tough, fleshy thing. You're waiting for a pillow on your husband, and all you got was Borgogi in your ear. That's the sound that the digestion makes. That's called Borgogi. Aaron G with a super chat. Thank you, sir. Generous asks, is God a miracle? I don't even know how to begin to answer that question, man. Is God a miracle? He's a miracle in my life. Thank you for your super chat. Maybe that'll come back to me in a fugue state, and I'll be like, whoa, that's been a seed planted in there by Aaron ages ago. And should it blossom, Aaron, I'll let you know right away. But thank you for the super chat, and thanks for the support. Supporters on rumble.com. Thank you, everybody. DJ T, Digitus, all my members. That's amazing. Liesel, since I have you, let's get to these coffees because there are so many coffees here. And I never got to read these. So she says, Knit, happy. Now, this is going back to Easter. So thank you, Liesel. Happy Easter to you and yours. Dinner is on me tonight. Knit, I was telling Joel how I have missed you guys. But please forgive me when I tell you that I mostly miss my newfound friends, namely Harmony, Ivana, and my brother Mark S. And of course, a few more. I visited my mom's island for almost a month and always caught up to your new episodes. I always learn something listening to you. Thank you, Knit, and please forgive my goofiness. Totally forgiven. Thank you for understanding. I told Joel I just want to keep it on the low for... Hold on, let me read the rest of this. Wondering if you meant this to be private. You didn't mean this to be private, did you? It should say private, I think, if you meant for it to be private. Liesel, thank you, Liesel. Just thank you. Let me know if it's private. Private. I just don't know. I'm thinking about something that happened on someone else's show, and they were saying, "Oh, it was supposed to be private." And my mind is playing on me. It's fine, Knit. Okay, I keep going. She says, Knit, thanks. So, I just want to keep it on the low. I will be back. Miss my friends, Knit. I love them dearly. I hope you'll allow me one day to dip my toes in your pool again to hang out with my sweethearts. Liesel, just hop in the chat, do your thing. Are you part of the Discord? You can have Snake Pit beyond Snake Pit after hours. Like, I'm not saying you can get in the Discord and they go off there too. So I don't know if you're trying to find them, but they're in there. It's in the chat. It's in the description of the video if you ever want to be part of it. She says, thanks so much, kind of moping around. Then this, we love you and thanks for entertaining us. That was her being thankful for that Friday stream when I was out there walking. Dear Knit, she says, request permission to come on board, sir. Permission granted. Please tell Joel Lil C we feel betrayed. Knit, I saw my doctor. Wait, in what way? Knit, I saw my doctor yesterday and he was impressed with my range of motion. Nice. I did leave you an excitable message on this here page. And referring to your road trip, nice Jews and your attempt with the squirrels. Yeah, the Jewish area where the park is. It's a nice area. We are your fans always and always. Again, thanks for your kindness. I feel at home when you let me hang out with my friends on here. Of course, Liesel, and she finishes it off here with, anything you have in store is always appreciated by us. Pain meds for wrists is wearing off, but still feeling kind of off kilter. You'll forgive the whacked out comments. That's not the pain pills, Liesel. Love you, Nit. Always try to be respectful to you guys. All of you are wonderful, and we thank you, Nit. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you, Liesel. She says, Mr. G's class is in session. Big shout out to Liesel. Big 07's in the chat for being so supportive and so generous. She says, great fun, Nit. Thank you. Chris with the super chat. He says, please don't read this on air. Nice. Thanks for your super chat. So you gotta, and again, guys, make sure you tell me if I shouldn't read your super chat on the air, because I don't want to read things that are private. So make sure you let me know. Harmony, thanks for the super chat, says union dues, and she's a little nomination knit for Pope. That's gaining steam, folks. You know, that's getting crazy. That's gaining steam. You might have a new vicar of Christ on your hands, and you might be an anchor baby. We got Carl out of Boston, Massachusetts. Thanks for your call. Go ahead, you're on the air. We got Carl, Massachusetts. We got Boston on the air. Is it Carl? We got you. Going once, going twice. Check on him, Derek. Let me know if Carl's still there. Amazing. Let's get to Jamie, first-time caller out of Atlanta, Georgia. How you doing, Jamie? Thanks for your call.
What's up? Have I talked to you before?
You know what? I can't remember. It says you're a first-time caller.
Yeah, I don't know. I talked to Jesse and I talked to Hank. But I was calling. I wanted to talk to why we ain't seen any names off of that Epstein list.
Ooh.
And wondering why somebody could be charged with trafficking kids, but there's nobody that they traffic them to. They should be letting this lady out of jail if they ain't going to release the damn names. But we all know why they ain't releasing the names. Is because probably 3/4 of our people up in Congress or the Senate are on that list. And I'm sick of these damn judges. Sick of these judges that are trying to obfuscate and take over the presidency from the bench. They all need to be drug off the damn bench. You remember when we used to tar and feather people?
I don't remember that. I heard about that.
I think it's about time we start doing that shit again, teach these people.
Let's keep it clean. I know you got energy, but we are.
My bad. I didn't say nothing bad, did I?
Just swearing a little bit. Just swearing.
Oh, my bad.
Just a little bit of cussing.
Try to keep it clean for the kids and the grandmas.
Thank you.
So what do you think about why they haven't released the people on the list?
Now, I'm trying to remember what it was with the Trump administration, what's going on with all that. Because they're doing this declassification of stuff, right? Not just Epstein files. Here it is. Justice.gov, Attorney General Pam Bondi releases first phase of declassify Epstein files. Now, I forget the exact controversy behind all that, so I don't want to put out bad info, but I remember that being a little bit, and even the JFK files, I remember that being, at least hearing from people I respect, and I can't confirm for myself that they weren't, that even that, they're hemming and hawing, and they're not being released in a total way. Did you hear anything about that?
Well, you know,
are you familiar with that at all?
The things that when Pam Bondi did that list, and she had all them influencers up there that she give information to, the majority of that stuff she released had already been released. We knew all of that stuff. Same thing with the JFK files. The stuff they released on the JFK files ties back into the Mossad working with the CIA, killing our president. Same thing with the 9/11 thing, with the dancing Jews up there in New York City. We all know who was part of this stuff, and they go, well, we can't do it because y'all ain't grown up enough to see what's on here. I was finna cuss, and I didn't. So that's a bunch of BS. We know what's going on. We know the players in the game because they're all the same people. It's all the same people that are tied into this stuff, and their family members are, a lot of people that work at the White House are married to people that's in the media and this and that, and they all got a certain emblem that they hang on themselves, and that ain't in the Bible. That ain't in the Bible. That star that they have beside their name, it ain't in the Bible.
What would you think would happen? Like, what would you think would happen you're saying you believe there to be a protection going on, right? That's something you believe to be happening.
Yes.
What would you think would change in the world, in America? Should that be true, right? We're making an assumption here. I personally don't know. And if that were true and you got, let's put it like this, you got your way in a sense and you were able to put them in jail, whoever went to this island, and we could prove something, blah, blah, blah. What would change? A sincere question, not trying to derail anything, a sincere question. What do you think would change in the world?
These people would no longer be able to do things to children. That they're being blackmailed. That's how they control our politicians. A lot of these people were allowed to go to this island, and they were allowed to do things with underage children, boys and girls. They were videoed. It's called a honeypot, and it didn't just happen at the island. It happened at the Playboy Mansion. There's more islands than Epstein's out there, and this is what's going on around the world. This is what runs the world.
You really think so?
Yes. I do think it was.
Do you think a sexual blackmail ring runs the world, or do you think evil runs the world? Like, I want you to be a little bit more specific on that one.
Well, blackmail. They're blackmailing people that do evil things. These people are evil,
right? But
and it's always the same people. It is. This is what's so frustrating about what's taking so long. You know, they say the wheels of justice turn slowly. That's another BS.
Why would you be personally frustrated? That I don't understand.
Why would I be personally frustrated that people are allowed to abuse children?
Yeah.
You
Correct.
You wouldn't be upset about that?
No. I'm not personally frustrated by that, no.
Why would that not upset you that people are abusing children?
I find it a silly thing to get upset over because I'm a person who you'd have to it would start if I'm going to get upset over these children at the Epstein Island, I'm the type of person who now has to be like consistent. Now I got to get upset about everything. I just don't find it a worthwhile thing to even do, to spend any energy on. Who is it helping, number one? What is it solving? The only thing that's happening with getting upset over an injustice in the world, the only thing that's truly happening is hell within inside of me. So that's why I don't do that. So I don't think it helps anyone. I don't think you're not even, I don't even think you're expressing like a good emotion and like you're being like a good person. Even if you're not doing anything, at least I care about the right thing. Like, I don't even think it's that. I think it's drama that you get a thrill on, you know, the general you. So if you ask me why I don't get upset over children being abused, it's the same reason I don't get upset over every other injustice and terrible thing in the world. It's useless, waste of time.
So you don't get upset when you see injustice being done. You don't get upset about that?
No, not on TV.
You're just fine with people murdering kids, abusing kids. You're okay with that?
Sure.
What?
Yeah, I mean, what am I going to do about it?
What do you mean? What are you going to do? You're going to speak out about it?
Why?
What do you mean? Why? That just shows your lack of character.
In what way?
If you don't say something about somebody doing something wrong.
In what way does it show my lack of character?
Because you're not willing to stand up and voice your opinion on somebody doing something wrong. Let me ask you.
Well, but I do that. If I want to make it.
What religion? What religion are you?
Yeah, we'll get to that. But I'll do that. I do that. If I want to say something, I do it every day on my show, and so like I do that. I say what I want to say. So I'm not entirely sure what you're getting at. I think it shows more character. It shows character to not be blown and buffeted by every story of injustice, and to have a deeper understanding of what's really going on, this evil that runs people, because you got to be a judgmental person to be affected by every injustice you see. You have to be quite a judgmental person to go around and say, wow, look at this injustice that I have to get my emotions involved in, which wouldn't, again, what would that fix? What does that do? It does nothing. You asked me, it shows my character that I wouldn't speak out about a thing, but that's speaking out about something is different than, you know, simply seeing something as wrong. If I see murder as wrong, something that I wouldn't do, if I don't speak out about it, am I committing? Right? I'm not really doing anything. I don't think that's a bad thing.
Yeah, if you see somebody commit murder and you don't say something about it, you're just as guilty as the person that committed the murder.
In what way?
because you didn't say nothing about it.
But why
you just
should
stood by and let it happen. Look, there's a saying that the world's not going to be, what is it, about evil people ruling the world. It's going to be happening because people don't say something about the evil people ruling the world. These people are molesting children.
That's not true, man. You're saying that the world is the way it is because people don't say anything about the evil?
Yes.
But that's wrong.
Yes,
that's totally wrong. The world is constantly talking about what's wrong and what's right. They're constantly judging. They're constantly putting on TV what you should listen to, imposing a morality and worldview on you constantly. Don't you see that? If it's church, whether it's church, TV, Hollywood, school, politics, all of it is trying to impose a morality and worldview on you. So wouldn't you agree with me at least on that that's true?
No, I think they're trying to take away our morality with the things that's going on in this country, especially with the
that may be true
and shit like that, stuff like that. But
you missed what I was saying. That may be true that in effect it's not working, but you said that the world doesn't want you to stand up for what's right and speak out and what were you saying? And basically make a conclusion on good and evil, right? Is that what you were saying?
No, they don't want you to speak out against the evil that's going on because the majority of them are tied up in it.
And here's what I was saying, though.
Tell me name one person from all of this trafficking that happened at Epstein Island that Ghislaine and was charged with. Name me one person that they trafficked a child to. How did you convict them of trafficking if there's nobody that got trafficked to? You got the names of the victim, you got the names of the trafficker, but you don't have the person that was receiving the kids. You know why you don't have that name? Because they control power in this country.
You know how it goes, but it's like even on that, you have like what seems to me 5% of the story, 10% of the story, which is the most what we all have. And you've gone and you walk around and talk through this conversation like you have 100% of the story. So that's the first thing I got to say about that.
I have seen the flight logs of the people that went there.
So
what did they go there for?
We all have seen the flight logs. This is what I mean. You have 10% of the story like we all do, but you talk like you got 100% of it. So I'll put that out there.
So we got the FBI that has the videotapes that they showed in when they walked through the house.
What videotapes?
The disc and stuff. He had video.
What videotapes of what?
Oh, do you tell me what was on there?
No, you're the one bringing no. You seem to know, but
well, what do you think's on there?
You're the one telling me. I'm not that familiar. You're saying they got all this evidence. They got it, Nick. They got the tapes. Tell me what the tapes are and what aren't they? You saw them?
Same thing when they had the Epstein. When they had
you saw these tapes?
Same thing when they had Biden's laptop and they said, everybody come out and said, oh, there's nothing on there. That's Russian disinformation. Who's telling you that they ain't got no tapes of what Jeffrey Epstein did? How did they convict the man? How did they convict Ghislaine Maxwell?
I don't know. These are all questions maybe you should answer before making a conclusion, don't you think?
It don't take like I said, it don't take a rocket scientist to figure out what they were doing.
Fair enough. And you know what? And you know what? Fair enough on that overarching point. Yeah. Dark things that happen in the shadows. But what else are you going to say about that? You got to kind of like, you can't like lose your mind over this. You're saying you're frustrated. You're saying you're personally frustrated. That doesn't make sense. Are you personally frustrated? Are you personally? Yeah, but let me ask you quick first, Jamie. Are you personally frustrated when you? What about all the crimes you don't hear about? Why aren't you frustrated about those? You know what I mean? Like, huh?
If I heard about them, I'd be frustrated about them.
Oh no, that's even worse. So what are you gonna do? So what are you gonna do with your life, Jamie? Do you want to live the rest of your life frustrated out of everything you hear, or are you just gonna block your ears and close your blinds and stay home and never listen to anything? What are you gonna do with your life?
No, I'm gonna say something about things that should. I'm gonna say things about something that should be said. Our Justice Department.
So you're gonna stay this way. You're saying you're gonna stay frustrated.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay.
Because you want to stay frustrated. You just want to be frustrated. That's what you want to do.
I'm gonna keep saying things about wrong that's not being.
Okay, I just want to make that clear. I just want to make that clear because that's a point I like making on this show. Is most people, they want the life and misery they're in, and so I just want to make that clear for the viewers. You want to stay frustrated and just look at the world and be frustrated. That's what you like and want to be.
Yeah, but I'm not frustrated. Well, I am frustrated, but I'm not miserable because of it. I just want to see
frustrated is
done.
miserable. Frustrated is miserable, man.
I just want to see justice done. I want to see the people that we pay to hold these positions, like the FBI head, Cash Patel, to get off his ass. Him and Pam Bondi both said, first day, we're going to release this stuff. And they ain't did nothing except sit back and
are you surprised?
Their thumb. So if they've got this information, because they went in and raided this place, what did they, like I said again, how did they convict both of them?
A question I don't have the answer to, Jamie.
Well, I'm just saying. Well, that's what I want answers to. I want my government. Same thing when they had all them illegals coming over the border. You know what they said? There's good people everywhere. You ain't good people if you letting people walk across the damn border. What am I paying you for?
Well, you made your point on this, Jamie. You made your point on the Epstein Island thing, and I hear you on the immigration stuff there. Yeah. I'm coming at it from a different angle. Look, I really don't know what's going on with all that. To summarize the call, I don't know what's going on. No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't know. No, I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly, and you don't either. We don't know exactly. Maybe weird things. Maybe weird, terrible things, even maybe. But we don't know exactly. So I'm not going to trip about it. That's the point.
Well, did she get convicted of trafficking kids?
We can't rehash the details of the call, Jamie. We've already spent too much time on this. I don't know personally.
Did she get convicted of trafficking kids?
I think she did. I don't remember it. I don't.
Okay, so who did she traffic them to?
I think because you mentioned it at the beginning of the call. Again, I'm not familiar with the details. Last time I even opened up an article on this was a while ago.
So, man,
that's a sincere answer. I don't know.
You do know. You just don't want to say.
All right, Jamie. Take care, man. Appreciate your call. Sir.
All right, man. Y'all have a good one. Jamie Chapman on YouTube.
Call me again. Oh, these people aren't even real callers. They just want to promote their channel. People aren't even real. What the? Never let Jamie call my show again, Derek. Appreciate that. And I was fine. That was a fine conversation. I wasn't tripping. I was chill. But, I don't want, don't let him call my show anymore. So anyways, Jamie, let's move on here. You guys, I see some of you in the chat kind of get that frustrated over children being killed. What kind of a worm? You know what I mean? Like, here's where I'm coming at it from. What kind of like a debased organism am I, as opposed to the man that God made you to be? What kind of worm that's reacting to this and that are you, in that sense, emotionally, to live a life like that, right? There's nothing higher-minded about it at all. And it's not helping. It's not noble. It's not full of character. To me, it shows the exact opposite of all those things. It shows a person who's weak, reacting to this and that thing without true understanding, and a person blinded who can't you can't see when you're like that, and what else? It shows the opposite, don't you think? It shows weakness. So I understand where he's coming from, though. That's why I like the call, because people see that as noble. It's noble, right? It's like a noble thing. But I think even deeper than that, it's in fact not that at all. Because the basic, how people would take that in its most basic way is, well, at least I have the right intentions. At least I care about the right thing. But that's the funny thing about statements like that. Usually even that part is wrong. They actually don't care about these children being abused. It's really more about this thrill about getting mad about it, as opposed to truly wanting abuse of children to stop. A true desire of that, whatever, which that can be its own weird thing. You cannot see me, says Nit. What do you think of Jamie rocking the boat? I don't think he was rocking the boat. The whole conversation was cool. I just don't want people to promote their channels. Okay, it doesn't make sense. It's like advertising. You come on a show, you think you're talking about this, but they want to throw in an ad, right? This doesn't make sense. It's an abuse of my platform and time. It's simply what it is. Nothing personal. It's just simply what it is. But what else about this? I also don't know about all that. It seems like there's people being protected. I don't know what else. Why do you want me to go further than that? Yeah, fine. It seems like some weird things happen, and it seems like people are being protected. I don't know what to tell you. It's an evil world. And I say seems because that's a sincere answer. If we're all honest here, it just seems. Well, exactly what that means, I can't tell you. So if I went further, I'd be a liar. Let us go on here. Wow, all these calls and super chats. What am I going to do? Have you seen Chudjack lately? You guys know who I'm talking about? Chudjack is a meme. Chudjack is a meme, okay? And you've seen these memes where they have these faces that are kind of poorly drawn on the internet. They call them like Jack, Soy Jack. They have different names. They're like characters. They're like recurring characters on the internet. This one is Chudjack. And this is the face that people on the internet use when they want to play the character of maybe quasi-incel, mad on the internet racist, maybe quasi-misogynist, maybe quasi-school shooter vibes, okay? That's the image you use on the internet. You're like, wow, that was so Chudjack. Now, that's very crude, but you get it. Billions must smile is a funny representation of this one. Usually it would say something like billions must die, and he would be very, very mad. His face would not be so happy. This is maybe a parody of the Chudjack. Chudjack finds meaning in life, and he's smiling here and says billions must smile. Now, Chudjack this face didn't come out of nowhere. This is someone's attempt to draw an individual. His name is Patrick Crusius. I forget how to pronounce this. You may be familiar with the name. He was one of those, as we've seen in the past years and stuff. He was the El Paso Walmart shooter. Okay, 2019 El Paso Walmart shooting. You remember Patrick? Maybe a little bit? That's his face. He's the Chudjack, just so you know. And this guy, on Wikipedia, if you look up the Wikipedia, he's a far-right extremist, anti-immigration, white supremacy. I can't remember exactly the deets of his motives because sometimes these things are a little bit nitty. The details kind of matter a little bit. Well, when on Wikipedia they'll write right-wing extremist, this and that, and it turns out, wait, actually kind of eco-green terrorist kind of guy. I can't remember who this one was, but that's happened, in fact, maybe even more than once. But that's what Wikipedia said. Far right. So that was Patrick Cruises. Check out Patrick. 2025, Patrick Cruises. This is the Chudjack? This is the Chudjack? You feel old yet? This is now this. This guy is now this guy. Do you feel old yet? Ladies, quick poll for the viewers, and males will answer a certain way, and males and females will be separated in their answers. Which picture do you think looks better, the before or the after? Let me know. I want to see something about people and if they lie. No, just mess around a bit if you were watching the earlier segment, but that's Patrick. Do you think he's getting letters? You know how ladies send letters to these killers sometimes? Do you think he's getting letters? I want to marry him. No, that can't be him, says Anthony. What do you think, left or right? Why does there have to be a point? Everything is fake. Why can't I just talk about incels so that I can segue into other incel-y things? Like this account that loves posting. Oh, wait, not this one. Like this account. It loves posting, I don't know, just incel slop. Is that fair to say? I think I'm going there. I'm going there. Incel slop. This is incel. Oh man, the post that this was responding to doesn't exist anymore. But it was about dating apps basically, and the incel account was like, criticizing the people who are telling them just meet someone in real life. You don't need dating apps. And so the incel account is like, whatever reasonable person. You think you can just reason with me? You think you can just reason with me? You think you could just tell me things like, oh, transcend these paradigms, be a man? Yeah. No, not going to work with me. I have a graph, says the incel. The incel slop account specifically. Shout out incels. We love the incels, but this slop account stuff, they're just trying to make you mad, straight up. That's what I think. They're just using your emotions to get clicks. How couples meet in the U.S. The online line. Look at it, exploding. Look at that. 50+% of couples meet online. What? Through friends, through family, work, bar, grade school, neighbors, college, all going down. And it's just skyrocketing. Meet online. It's just look. It's a change. It's a change of the times in a sense. You're gonna see the online thing kind of take on even a different flavor in that it'll flip where the vast majority of people will be there, right? If it's not already, right? It was the fringe thing. That's the dating online thing. That's the fringe thing. That's the thing over there. And look, and us over here who haven't been doing it that way can see the problems from afar. There's no desperate people. That's a mess. You're going in with the wrong motivation. To find another person is a strange motivation. They don't teach us those things, right? They didn't teach us that growing up. They didn't teach us that most of your parents met each other like through life. They're like, I gotta find a girl. Like that happens. That's been happening, I'm sure, but that's kind of also a more modern thing, in my opinion. Like typing in, like imagine typing in a search bar. This is a phenomenon we grew up with. To have a search bar before you and to think the question I must ask this search bar, how to get a girlfriend. Or how much has that warped people? Let's be real. That alone. Like that is not how you approach life. But are you even seeing the graph? Was I showing you the graph? Look, online, it's everything online. Just a little point about just wanted to make a little tiny point about this, I guess. We were talking about the ladies lying and all that. But the guys lie. They lie to themselves. They lie. They live in a lie. What can I say? This whole thing is a lie. Sure, the graph maybe is built on data. Like this is happening. Sure. I don't know. I gotta say, there are things that transcend trends and all that, okay? And I don't know how else to put it. Just go out and meet people, and you might understand what I mean. And it doesn't have to be romantically. Which is a strange thing to say, right? Go out and meet people. You know what's a better way of putting it? Go out and meet people. You know what's a better way of putting that? Go out and live the life you want to live. Regardless of people, regardless of who would be there, who wouldn't be there. And you're going to find people there. Trust me. Go out and live the life you want to live regardless. Do what you want to do. And you actually might find, you'll find people. That's kind of a better thing to say. So, it's I gotta say that still hits with incels today and all that. Okay, so I don't know. We've been shouting out the incels and all that. They're misunderstood. I get it, but I can't let this stand, folks. Even if you watch my show, I can't let this stand. This is a slop account. This account wants you mad, and it just has a complaint about everything. This is a slop AI. This is an incel slop account. Straight up. So anyways, let's get back to calls here. So many are holding amazing calls. Let's get to Aaron out of Maryland. Appreciate your call, sir. You're on the air.
Yo, what's going on?
All's well, sir.
How are you, Nick?
No complaints, man. Thanks.
Nice. I was I had a comment about that last caller that came in, but I want to say really quickly about the involuntary. Incel means involuntarily celibate, right?
Correct.
That's like saying, maybe I'm off in this, but it sounds like involuntarily blessed. You know what I mean?
Involuntarily blessed?
Yeah.
Please expand.
You know what I mean? Huh?
Expand, please.
Well, those guys are calling themselves incels. Obviously, you can assume they're not married, right?
Right. I guess you have to assume that, right?
So if they're not married, you're doing exactly what you should be doing. So it's like a paradox. It's like an oxymoron. So what do you mean
funny.
You're involuntarily? How do they flip it on people like that? Where it's like, oh, these guys they can't help it but to be celibate. It's like, what? Bro, you're just living life. You're not married. You don't have to worry about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
It's
The devil is
it's insane.
wily guy. He's flipped good, bad. It's crazy. And I see what you're putting down,
desperate.
I think. It's
so desperate.
It's totally desperate. And when they're in a position, right now I am thinking of specific kind of age cohorts a little bit. And these guys I'm thinking of that I've seen online, they'll be talking about women. And what hits me 9 times out of 10 is, wow, what you're thinking about and what you're worried about is like not at all what you should be thinking about.
Nonsense, man.
Nonsense. And it's like, if anything, you are blessed for not having a woman, right? You are right now in the stage you're in. You are you're good. You're good. You got other things to work
bro. On. Just go hang out. Go do something fun. Like what? You're saying you're even to call yourself involuntarily celibate is such a disrespect to yourself to be like, oh, this isn't my wish. It's like, yo, this isn't my wish. If I could, I wouldn't be celibate. That's the mentality,
right?
It's insane. Like, bro,
it's proof they're disconnected from God. You have to be disconnected from your true self, because you got to be. You are worship. When you used to call yourself an incel, you were saying, "I worship women." You're saying,
absolutely
right. You're saying they control your frame and they're your God. You're saying women are your God.
Of course. I mean, man, it's like. Oh, man, it's so deep. Man, now this is actually deeper than what I was actually originally calling for. Because, what we bring it up now is the same. As someone that says they're involuntarily celibate is going through the same struggles as somebody that is trying to overcome their own evils, but in the wrong direction, kind of. Does that make sense?
Explain.
Just how you said, where the woman becomes their God. They're trying to overcome being celibate. You know what I mean?
I gotcha, yeah.
Rather than the other way around, where you're supposed to overcome the desire to not be celibate.
Well, well, essentially, I understand what you mean. No, I do, and you're right. They're digging themselves in a deeper hole, not seeing it, right? Thinking their problem, thinking they're digging themselves out of a problem, but they're really digging themselves deeper into a problem.
Deeper.
Yeah, for sure. And by calling themselves incel, by desiring the woman in that way, they'll just stay that way and not see see how they're wrong for that. They're not going to see how they're wrong for that.
They're not even. It's incel doesn't even exist. It's not even a real whatever. It's maybe talking about it too much is giving weight to it.
Fair enough.
It's stupid. Yeah, but I was going to say about
these accounts, they just talk like. Yeah, okay, women are evil, and they are superficial sometimes. Well, welcome to the world. Have you met people? You know what I mean? It's like
true, yeah. That's the way it goes, man. Why is this a surprise for you? That's the deeper question: is why is this a surprise for you?
Right.
You know what I mean?
At some point, you got to grow up. Yeah.
Yeah, because then that kind of means that you don't recognize your own evils. If you're being so
fair enough,
yeah. Oh, wow. That kind of answers the...
That's a good way of putting it, I think.
Earlier today, and it kind of answered my question. I called him earlier about being shocked by news, and then I just realized that if you're shocked by something, that's because you don't see that you're fully capable of the same thing.
That was you. Yeah, I heard you call her. I remember your call now. Yeah. That's a good way of putting that, I think. If you could see that within you, you would not trip. You would forgive everyone.
Shocked in the first place.
You would forgive you would forgive everybody. Everybody, you would have no anger.
Yeah. If I could, man, I don't want to take up too much time, but I was going to comment on that last call you had with that gentleman.
Please.
About, he was telling you that you should, if you see something wrong happening, you should speak out about it.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Jaime.
Yes, Jaime. And I wanted to say it was an amazing call, by the way. It was so
nice. I thought it was great.
Deep. Yeah, and you handled it amazingly. And I wanted to say, I mean, kind of he did too, but when he said that, I realized you have to understand that you should say something at the moment. It's not like a rule that you keep. You know what I mean? Like where you're like, oh, every time I do this, I have to do this. It's not like an X then Y. It's like that will come to you in the moment when you see whatever it is happening. Then you'll know whether to speak. You might not even speak out. You might actually get involved. Actually, you don't know.
There's room for that
right?
too. I see what you're saying, and that's just like a sane, level-headed way of taking in a conversation. Because that's all I was having with that guy, a conversation. That is so correct. Yeah, because it's not an X then Y. You know, you see someone getting beat up in the street. You know, don't get involved. All the things I was saying, but that specific moment, you got to wait and see. You got to be in your life. I'm not in your life.
Yes. And then that was the key thing about it that I was listening in on, was that none of that stuff that you guys, I think he brought up, was currently happening when he was speaking to you. This is, and it actually, I don't think it implicated or involved him at all. You know what I mean? And
totally.
So
I should have said it like that. Yeah.
It's interesting because this is not on him or you, but I was saying the way evil acts work is that they kind of spread like an infection. Like whatever happened that he's speaking on resonated with him or shook him or did something to him so much that he had to spread it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like there was such a evil act.
You can't.
No, this is wrong. This is messed up. You gotta. You know what I mean? Like it's
emotion. Yeah, I think you're talking about emotion, man. That's how it goes. You can't. You know, if you can't overcome it, let it pass. You have to pass it on to others. You have to inflict it on others.
Yeah, and I thought like because of myself though, seeing that myself, I was like, man, I totally get where he's coming from.
Yeah.
Because sometimes in the past I've done that where I go, no, you shouldn't do that to others, or you know, I remember something that someone else did, and I go, they shouldn't do that. They're not even there, and they're not even around when I'm having the conversation with someone else, and I'm like, they're wrong for that, right? And in the middle of it, I just see myself yelling at someone that had nothing to do with the thing that I'm talking about. You know what I mean?
Right. Inflicting what you couldn't handle on your own to someone else. Let me put this load on someone else, and the load is self-imposed. It's not even real.
Man. Crazy.
Yeah.
You don't even notice it. You think you're doing something righteous, but it's not even happening.
Right? That's so crazy, man. The mind is nuts. Aaron, man, anything else you want to say on this?
No, that was it, man. Thanks.
Call me again, sir.
Yep.
888-775-3773. That's deep. All right, like inflicting on each other. What are we doing? So let me see here. War and immigration. You know, it's a big topic. We're supposed to be doing important things, right? Right? Nah. We'll get back to this. Call me when the bombs are dropping, you know? Call me. How about call me when the bombs are dropping or something? I don't want bombs to drop. And I hear Trump doesn't want bombs to drop either, you know? He's saying, I will not be dragged into war with Iran. The news is a bit that Netanyahu is, I think just the other day, he was like, we will accept nothing less than the bombing of Iran's nuclear facility so that they can't like make stuff in the future. And he specifically said so that in a further or future U.S. administration, they would not be able to rebuild their nuclear facilities. It's like, why do you care so much about... Why you really need the U.S.'s help here with this, right? So you get the point on that. That's a known thing. It's an uncontroversial thing, in my opinion. But it's, you know, when you want to bomb Iran, you got to bring all the buddies in. Trump you've seen him, he's a different type of guy. He's saying, I will not be dragged in. So with these two comments, You are seeing the tug of war that I've been kind of just describing very far, bird's eye view, in an ignorant way. The best I can. Let's put it like that. You're seeing this tug of war kind of come to a head. We'll see what happens, right? But I don't know. It seems to me like further and further, I'm like, Trump has been an awesome guy. Legend, still remains a legend. So let me move on. Maybe we'll do war and immigration. I know it's deep topics, but we got to deal with, what do we do first, actually? We have funny stuff. We got to deal with 100 men versus a gorilla. Honestly, yeah. War, looming war. Trump's 100 days. The transformation of America. Will America come back? We're in the 11th hour. The waning empire that once was. Many know it won't come back, right? Big topics. But we got to deal with 100 men versus one gorilla. You know, that's what we really got to do. So 100 men versus one gorilla. Thoughts? Fellas? Is this a boy talk? Fellas? Thoughts? Quickly, let me just leave that as a quandary for you in the mind. Smoke on that a bit. 100 men versus one gorilla. Close call, easy peasy. Is it a gorilla Smash Bros? What do you think? Now this came to my attention because some famous accounts reposted a post on X, and the post was super viral for some reason. I don't know why this was super viral, but some account wrote this. I think 100 N-words could beat one gorilla. Everybody just got to be dedicated to the ish. I got to say I'm with that guy. I got to say this individual here is really thinking. This individual is thinking about the variables here. And I too concur, sir. I would agree with the statement. I think 100 N-words could beat one gorilla as long as they're dedicated to the task at hand, right? And you know, other people thought the same. Like Mr. Beast, probably the most famous YouTuber of all time. Most viewed, right? One of the most famous YouTubers of all time. He wonders, should I test this? You know, he puts out these videos. You think, is Mr. Beast coming out with a new video? 100 N-words versus one gorilla? And he has like the Mr. Beast look on the thumbnail. What? 100 N-words? And that's the title, by the way. That's like the title of the YouTube video. I mean, we have to assume that, right? He is reposting the post here with the N-word in it. You know, someone else here, another individual, they're saying it's a lady. She goes by Thea Boyson, also someone with a following on X. She retweets this, she reposts this thing also and says, we used to have Roman Colosseums to test these things. The men yearn for the arena. It's like, whoa, what's happening? All of a sudden now you were talking about throw the N-words in the Colosseum. What's happening? What happened? Now, I think everybody's blowing it out of proportion, okay? I think it's quite clear that Mr. Beast and Thea were reposting, not even using the N-word, we're reposting the N-word as simply to mean man, right? Individual, right? Male individual, right? N-word. Oh, that's my N-word, right? Male individual. They were just saying male individual. So in Mr. Beast's mind, I got to say, and now I'm talking for him a little bit, but I have to conclude that in Mr. Beast's mind, for him, it's the same as saying 100 people, 100 human beings, 100 individuals, diverse individuals of all colors could beat one gorilla, right? So Mr. Beast's video is obviously going to be titled 100 people versus one gorilla. Let's be real. Okay? Now, a bunch of you are clearly in the comments fascinated by yet another controversial topic, and this is dividing you once more. Some of you are saying the men will win. Some of you are saying the gorilla will defeat the men. 100 of them dedicated to take down the gorilla. You really think that? What do y'all think? Put out its eyes first. Chris Edwards is going to defeat the gorilla, clearly. So many of you are not going to beat the gorilla. It's clear. It's clear. 100 Engas. 100 Engas. We're switching to Engas. Nicaragua. Sorry, that's a country. The men got to understand the assignment. You get it. So you guys really think the gorilla would win in some cases? No. The Nicaraguas are winning. And that means that's a country, and I'm talking about 100 men, diverse men. Okay, now you guys are making it racial. 100 whites. 100 whites versus one gorilla, 100 blacks versus one gorilla. I don't care. Any color. The men are winning. It's 100. Do you know how many 100 people are? Do you know how much 100 is? 100. Like, let's see here. Here's 100. What was it? 100. Is it 100 children? Here's 100 children versus pro soccer players. 3 pro soccer players. This is what 100 looks like on a soccer field. Children. This is what 100 children look like on a soccer field.
Going on here on the field. I tell you what, the Japanese are at it again. There are more players on the pitch than the new Avengers movie. Okay, I will be honest. The kid team is not playing a good strategy right now. With this many people on the pitch, they need to be proactive and play boy-to-man defense, 33-on-1. But I guess the saying is right. It doesn't matter if you...
This is a United Nations meeting of cultures type content going on here. Are you guys seeing that? Anyways.
9 goalkeepers as long as they're 4 feet tall. As the adults just say, screw this, I'm headed in over these losers, suck it!
Okay. All right, enough, India. Yeah, that's 100 children. That's 100 children. I gotta say, the gorilla's beaten. The men are beat. The men got it in the bag. The men are gonna have the gorilla. I think maybe like this. Hold on. That gorilla's gonna be on a spit, basically. Okay. I'm not gonna Google gorilla on a spit. I'm not gonna do that. Okay, well, you guys get the image. Okay, I'm not gonna Google gorilla on a spit. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. Okay. In fact, just don't do it. Don't do it. You don't want to see. That's it on that. That's it on that. Let's get to calls. Appreciate the patience. We got Derek out of Nashville, Tennessee. You're on the air.
Nick, thanks for taking my call.
Appreciate it, sir. Go ahead.
I got to tell you, with Jamie, that caller, I actually can totally relate to him there at the end when you guys were talking. And he was asking you how, like, doesn't this make you upset? And you go, no. And it reminded me of when I first talked to Jesse. I had called in. I was engaged to that gal, and her mom did some things in my mind that I thought were pretty awful. And I didn't understand why Jesse wasn't upset about it too. Mm-hmm. And he goes, the only one that's wrong in this conversation is, he didn't say it this way, but is me for judging her. It felt like that whole sequence was going on at the end of your call. And just, I totally understand where Jamie was coming from at the end. It's like, well, what are you going to do about it? Anyway, I could totally relate to him because I left that conversation. I was upset and I didn't get it. And then I was like, no, me judging the other person is worse than all of it. And so I can really relate to him.
Thanks for putting it in those words, because you're reminding me of, you're just reminding me of other words that could lay this out for people, because what you're saying is so true. It's not even a good intention. You think it's a good intention, but it's not. You have to be judgmental.
Right.
You have to think you're better than someone to feel anything that close to you personally about anything that's going on with somebody else.
And I totally thought I was better than her mom, that I'm going to come in and fix it.
Right.
But you could have just taken out the topic that you two were talking to and put in the topic that Jesse and I were talking about there at the end. And I totally get it. I totally understand where he's coming from. because I was all worked up about it. I'm like, what am I going to do about this?
Mm-hmm.
You know? So anyway.
If you could help someone, if you could see someone's situation and truly help them, you wouldn't get frustrated. You wouldn't do anything but just do the thing that would help them. You know, if
because
you truly
would just see it and do it.
Right. You would not do anything but that. You have to think you're better to think that you could fix someone and you can't even fix yourself. Put it like that. There you go.
I totally did. I'm like, oh,
yeah, man.
I'm not like them, you know.
And it gets to the heart of an earlier caller, I think, or it may have been that same caller about evil in the world. Well, the reason, I think it was that same call, the reason that there's evil in the world is because no one's speaking out about it. No, it's because everyone's doing everything. They're speaking about it, frustrated about it. They're doing everything but dealing with the evil within themselves.
And again, that's why I can totally relate to him. Yeah. I was trying to do everything, but I wasn't working on me at all. You know, then I didn't, not like one little bit, but I'm going to go out and I'm going to do something about it. Right? It's almost silly now thinking about it, but I could totally relate to him.
Same.
And, you know, I totally get it. But I want to ask you about church yesterday. And I thought your response when Jesse asked you about the assignment, about being single-minded or double-minded, what did you mean about when you said that there were maybes in your life and that you got rid of a bunch of them? What did you mean by that?
Put it like this. I mean, there are things I want to. I'm trying to be too personal, but I do want you to get
no,
what
you don't
I was
have to
saying.
Like, say the topic, but what you mean, yeah.
So allow me to find the words, but put it like this. It's just areas concerning my practical, physical life, things that I want to do with my channel, things that I want to do with my life and people, and things that I didn't even realize were like question marks that I was just like, I don't know, waiting for an answer on my lap. When I realized what Jesse meant, I think, by making decisions. You know, I had heard him for years say, you've never made a decision. And it's so true, because most of what we do is simply influenced by something outside, some emotion, some thought, some morality that was imposed on us, something we believed wrong. And that's why we operate. But it's like, okay, now I'm not really doing that. Now I'm watching myself and all that. And I got what Jesse was saying, I think, about decisions. And so I was just like, you know what? Why have a question mark about this XYZ things I've mentioned in my life? I'm just not going to have a question mark. I'm going to make a decision. And I found I couldn't quite do that for everything in my life. And so I was wondering, I asked him just at church, could I just leave those as an I don't know? Just leave those out? He's like, yeah, you know, when you're single-minded, you know, you also realize you don't have to make a decision. But yeah, there were certain areas in my life that I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to do what I want to do and not think about the outcome and not think about and not go with the second guesses the devil's going to give me. I know he's going to give me, and he already has in some cases. So that's what I was answering.
And he said, when you're single-minded, you don't have to make a decision. And it actually made me think of when we were talking about the dog. And I was all caught up in my head about that. But then I realized, oh, no, I don't really want the dog. There was no decision to be made. And
beautiful.
If I'm just present, it should take care of itself. But you had asked him, you're like, can I really be free right now?
Yeah.
And he's like, right now. And I think that all the time. I'm like, right now? And well, what's going on? And so, and he goes, you're free, but you live like slaves. And I found that if the day is going, quote unquote, well, I'm like, oh, everything's going great. But now the moment the heat gets turned up just a little bit, all up in my thoughts, all up in my head. But I also thought about what you said to where, well, maybe just noticing that that's happening is enough for now. You know,
totally.
Stop worrying if you're committing the worst sin ever.
Yes.
Stop worrying about it. And it's like, it sounds good when I say it, right? It sounds real good, but putting it into practice isn't that easy.
But that's why you got to stick with it, man. That's the only thing you got to do. That's why you have to stick with it. I literally, everything you say, everything you felt, I've been through that, man. I know exactly what you're talking about. And that's why you got to stick with it.
It's the I immediately want to go and hold on to nonsense in my head. Kind of like Jaime was talking about. Like he's holding on to this thing that makes him feel righteous, just like I was doing when I was dating that gal. Like holding on to that I got a thrill out of it, you know? And so, but anyway, I just thought
that
the
is
commentary
fine for
was,
now, man. It really, it sounds like it's fine for now. It seems to me like that's plenty. That's all you can do. That's all you have. And what you have, what you're describing, as far as it sounds like to me, you're describing seeing. What else can you have?
Say it again.
You're saying, I'm saying, because you asked if that's fine for now. Just seeing what I'm seeing.
Right.
And it seems to me, and it sounds to me like that is fine for now, man. What else do you have? What else can you do but watch?
Exactly. I think. Well, we'll see.
Yeah. Stick with it. Let's keep it up.
Yep.
Me too, man. And what else did you bring up? Can't quite remember now. What else? Were you thinking about anything else?
Well, one last thing. Jesse always talks about having a wait and see attitude. And I realized lately I do a very poor job at the waiting part. I'm like, waiting requires you to wait, you know, but really when I say it, I want it to happen right now. And so I don't know if anyone else has that experience.
So what do you do with that feeling when, whatever it may be?
Oftentimes I get all worked up about nonsense. And then, but when I catch it, it's just like, okay, well, that's done now.
Right.
And then you can move on. But I realized I do a poor job of the waiting part of the waiting and seeing.
Yes.
But at any rate, not to take up too much time.
No, I hear you, man. As long as when you're doing that, when you're doing the whole, oh, wow, I realize how evil I am thing, that it's not personal.
Yeah.
That you're really seeing how embedded in that statement of, wow, I'm so evil, in the code of saying such as long as you understand that in there exists also, I am free. You know what I mean? And you're not doing I'm so evil. It's like an emotional thing. Then keep it up and stick with it. That's all I gotta say.
It's easy to get to that point, but realizing I'm no different than my ex's mom. I'm no different than anyone else. You're right. And so I don't know. It's been weird, man. But I appreciate you taking my call.
Of course, man. Call me again.
You know I will.
Carl out of Boston, Massachusetts, sir. Thank you for holding so long, man. You're on the air.
Thanks, man. How's it going? You got me? You can hear me?
Oh, what's up? Kyle or Carl?
Yeah, well, Carl is just like my nickname.
Go ahead, man.
Kyle.
Question or comment? Last few minutes of the show.
Dude, nothing. Really nothing much. I just want to say, like, great callers.
Nice.
Say shout out to all your callers. You know, like really, really solid. And I just want to say, anyone out there that's demoralized, I don't know if you feel this way, but this is how I've been seeing it. It's, I mean, we got Donald Trump, we got Bitcoin, we have a youth that is waking up using the internet to basically break down what the CIA has been doing and all these other three-letter agencies have been doing for the last 100 years, and before their bloodlines. And I think it's going to be a lot harder for them to continue to oppress us into the future. You know what I'm saying?
Lofty claims and ideals there, but it sounds exciting. I'll agree with you on this. It's not all bad, right? If you look at the world, let me be real about this. At the bedrock, I don't see anything good, man. Like, the world is bad. The world is evil, but it's not something to trip about. It's not something even that. And I see exciting, fun things all the time, and a future that may be all the time. I see it all the time.
Am I being too idealistic?
Well, some of those are pretty lofty, right? The youth are gonna dismantle the three-letter agencies. You know, hey, I'm with you, man. We'll see how that all goes down.
I just mean like with Bitcoin now, Bitcoin, the crypto bubble is going to pop, and Bitcoin's going to, be the new thing where we won't be able to have our currency inflated.
You really think so?
And
you think it's going to be like paradigm shift, society, like that kind of thing. Bitcoin is that.
It already is. It already has been. It's already been proven. I mean, 20 years. No one's lost money on Bitcoin in 20 years. And so crypto, every other crypto has already died off. Like Ethereum's already been proven to be a shitcoin, I think. But Bitcoin is like someone made that was like a real patriot. So we have that. We have Donald Trump. We have the internet, which is in history brand new, so we can see these things coming against us, like things like
Trump's presidency. Everybody had a smartphone in their pocket. First time that happened.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Well,
so,
we appreciate your words of encouragement. Your can-do attitude, a little can-do attitude from Carl here, man. Appreciate it. Just moving fast because of the time. Last thing you want to say?
Absolutely. I just want to say, hey guys, it's Christ is the Father. Christ is the Creator, and your soul is eternal. And there's never anything to fear. There's nothing in this world that can ever hold you down. Your soul is eternal. Christ is King, and He is eternal, and He is the Creator, and He is your Father. And there's never
Christ
anything
is your
to
Father.
fear ever. The Creator is your Father, and Christ is the Creator incarnate. And
Carl's a Christian, folks, and he's giving you a little encouragement. I appreciate your call, sir.
Hell yeah!
Call me again.
All right. Thank you for taking the call. Thanks.
Kayl out of Canada. Thanks for your call, sir. On the air, Canada in the house.
Yo, man.
How you doing, sir?
I wanted to call about the gorilla thing.
Okay. What do you think? Lay it
so
on me.
so I have some experience in mixed martial arts and stuff like that. So I'm not talking from a completely unexperienced place.
Okay.
And it's my opinion that not only 100 regular men would lose, but even 100 of the best men on earth would lose.
Okay, go ahead. Explain. You might be right.
Well, there's no way to hurt a silverback gorilla. Even if the gorilla was tied down, like chained down, and it can't move, you could have 100 men stomp on it, punch it, gouge its eyes, whatever you want. They couldn't kill the gorilla.
Interesting, man. I know these animals are absolute beasts, right? So they're not definitely nothing to be trifled with. And I don't know, I've never seen one up close or anything. So I really don't know.
Yeah, no.
That's an interesting claim.
They also have 6-inch fangs and stuff. So let's say 25 men pile up on it and try to gouge its eyes and stuff. While they're trying to grab it, the thing's ripping people's arms off and biting their heads in half,
But then the other ones, after the first few sacrifices, the other ones will be, getting at it. They'll be getting at it. You could get through flesh. It's just flesh. It's just flesh. You could get through flesh if we're motivated enough. Either we get it or it gets us. That should be enough motivation. Get through that flesh, fellas. We could do it.
I don't know, man. I don't know how you could even hurt the thing. Like, I mean, yeah, I guess you
gouging
could maybe
in there. You gotta want it. You gotta want it. I don't think you're defeating it. You sound like someone who's not going to defeat the gorilla.
Oh no, definitely not. There could be 1,000 of me and probably won't, but
amazing.
But yeah,
fair enough. Okay, so very dense. The flesh itself is just a strong musculature and all that. We'd find difficulty in merely harming it. Interesting.
Well, yeah,
claim.
I mean, the bones are so incredibly dense and thick, and they don't have soft parts of them like we do, and it's just
we can be pretty soft in some areas.
Yeah, it's right, and so but these gorillas, they even like I don't want to be graphic or something, but like their super soft parts and stuff are inside their body. It's hidden away because they fight other gorillas, right?
So we can't even fight dirty?
You can't even really fight dirty, exactly.
Oh, I was keeping that in the back pocket.
No, you can't because they fight other gorillas, and even those gorillas can't get to those, things. So,
so you're saying I sound like someone who's going to die to a gorilla? Is what you're saying?
Well, anybody would, and anybody. Yeah, you gotta just I don't know, maybe go to a zoo and see one or something like that, or. But
wait, no, I've seen them. No, wait, I have seen him. I've seen him at zoos. Now that I think about it.
Oh, okay. And a lot of people also think of them as like, oh, it's like fighting a 500-pound man or something like that. But that's not a man. Like it's a gorilla. They built completely differently.
That's amazing, man. Interesting discourse. You might be right about this.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm determined, though.
So.
I'm betting on the 100 men, but you're bringing good commentary on this.
Yeah, and like I said before, like I'd take it even further. Even if the gorilla was completely immobilized, 100 men would lose all their energy, even trying to harm the thing.
Really, man, I got that one. I can't believe.
Like if you put a spell on it that it was just frozen like stone, right? You still couldn't. What are you going to do to it, right? Stomp on its toes or something? Like there's nothing.
On its chest, all of us, until it caves in. Its face, until it caves in.
No.
Easy.
But yeah, man. But thanks.
Appreciate your comments on this, man. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask real quick, because I know you don't have a lot of time, but do you think 100 toddlers could defeat one fully grown man?
Toddlers? No. That fully grown man is mowing through those toddlers.
See, now imagine you give that grown man fangs and, you know.
Okay, interesting. Now you're making me think about this, man. I have to let you go because we got to get Punchy going, sir. I wish we could talk more.
Okay, man. Thank you so much for taking my call, eh?
Call me again, sir.
Yeah.
Kayl might be right, sir, but that human male's going through those toddlers. But, you know, those are toddlers. But anyways, we disavow all toddlers being mowed down by a human male. That's it for me, folks. Take care. We got to get Punchy going. Don't miss Punchy.tv going live, premiering on Punchy TV, the YouTube channel, and Punchy.tv, our very own platform. Take care for now, folks. I'll be back tomorrow for more Anchor Baby. Peace.